Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars, and welcome to my review for the 12th episode of Season 3's The Grand Tour. This week's episode was called Legends and Luggage, and we're getting to the back end of this series now. I think we've only got 1 or 2 episodes left, and next week they explain is going to be a special. So this episode was one of those episodes that I would suggest was in the bracket of one of the weakest of this series. However, even the weak episodes of the Grand Tour tend to be enjoyable and watchable, and this was no different. And what did we get with this episode? Well, the first segment of this week's show was Clarkson playing around with some Lancias, basically. Now, if you know the history of when they were in Top Gear and Lancias, they've done a few pieces on Lancias in the past. And initially Clarkson's playing around with a classic Lancia that has had a modern day upgrade by an Italian car maker, designer, whatever you want to call him. So he has a blast going around the track with this new modern updated version of a Lancia. And then he also has a go in the Lancia Stratos. Now again, if you know the history of Grand Tour, they've had a lot to say about the Stratos in the past and Lancia. And again, a car manufacturer has made a modern day version of a Lancia Stratos, which he drives around and has a huge amount of fun with. And then further on in the after this segment, Abby takes them both around the track to see what times they get around the Abolodrome, and you'll have to see the episode yourself to see how fast they went. Then we go on to Conversation Street. Again, I don't need to say an awful lot about Conversation Street. It's 3 guys sat around a table talking twaddle about cars, and it's great fun, and it's great to watch, and it's always fun. One of always highlights of the episodes when they do Conversation Street, in my mind. Now then, the next segment is James May's segment, and he does a piece on the Porsche 917, one of the most iconic Porsches of all time. And he gets to drive one of these very, very rare cars, and he even makes a joke saying that when the insurers, when they asked the insurers if they were allowed to drive it, because I think they said it was worth 14 million? I don't know. It's worth an awful lot of money, this car, and they said yeah, anybody but Richard Hammond, basically, because he has a habit of crashing. So James May gets to drive this car, fabulously looking car. And then he talks through the history of the car and the races it was in, and how it nearly broke Porsche when they initially designed it, and they were intent on making it into a winner and to win races. And it was really quite an interesting segment in regards to the Porsche 917. And then the best part of the Porsche segment was they got an old driver from the Porsche 917 who won, I think it was Le Mans back in the day. I think he was 78 years old. I forget his name. Was it Dick? I've forgotten his name now. I knew I should have written it down. And they got him to drive around the track racing against a new modern day Porsche driven by a modern day racing driver. And they wanted to check these 2 cars around the track, see which one was going to win. And it was a brilliant race, hugely enjoyable, and it was great to see this 78-year-old man come alive in this car that he helped race and birth, and it was really, really brilliant to watch. So that was great fun. And then the episode ended with Clarkson and Hammond doing this segment in airports, and you get 10 minutes of Clarkson moaning about airports and how much of a pain in the backside they are, and then they redo it with them having some design that's going to make it easier to get through airports. Clarkson sat on a suitcase that he can basically drive, and Richard Hammond is on a laptop that you can skateboard with, a motorised skateboard. So you can imagine the fun and escapades they get up to in an airport with those 2 pieces of equipment, especially Clarkson. So that was a fun segment to end the episode on. So overall, it was an enjoyable, fun episode. I'll give it a 7.8 out of 10, just shy of 8 out of 10, because I did enjoy the episode, and even the weaker episodes are always hugely enjoyable. There's always 2 or 3 things in the episode that's worth watching. So yes, looking forward to the special next week. This is the one that I've been really looking forward to, this special. So make sure you catch the review next weekend. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time on Screen Style.